Welcome back to Desk Careers. I'm so excited to bring another incredible guest. If you're a year 8 student watching this right now, I dedicate this interview to you. We are welcoming Ryan Trutch, who is the CEO of Pole Position, and he's a motorsports professional. Welcome, Ryan. It's so great to have you with us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
I'm so excited to be talking to you. I know watching this right now are going to be some budding, aspiring automobile professionals who are diving into their F1 projects. And among the many will be young people really interested in the management side of building a team and finding ways to become the winners of this project. Ryan, you come to us with an entrepreneurial professional of over 25 years experience in these business opportunities. You are passionate about fast cars, and you are a business mindset really at the core of what you do. In speaking with past guests who were either working in the design element of automobiles and fast racing cars, or even the drivers themselves, the one thing that I've heard again and again is that you have to really understand the business behind this project and working with cars. So that's definitely something I want to be touching on, because I think a young person applying to work in this field has to understand it's not just about loving fast cars. Of course, that's where it all starts, but there's a real business behind this type of work. How long did you know? I mean, how young were you when you knew I definitely want to go into this industry? Fast cars are my thing.
So I guess I was probably around the age of 23, 24. I didn't really think that it was something I was going to get into. I had a passion for competing in motorsports. I have lived in Dubai for 40 years this year. So, back in the old school days of Dubai, your back garden was a desert, and I spent a lot of time on motorbikes and quad bikes and that sort of thing, and then participating. So, I was introduced to motorsports as a young kid, and it kind of developed from there. I had a racing career all through at my teens, where I was competing in karting, and then later on in saloon cars. But it's actually funny, motorsports wasn't my initial career path was interior design. I was extremely good at art at school. I wasn't very academic. My English wasn't that great. I struggled with dyslexia. So, I wasn't very academic. I was good with my hands. I was great at drawing. Interior design seemed like a great path for me at the time. But ultimately, I fell into motorsports and followed that as a career path.
I love that you're saying it wasn't where it all began. You thought you were going to go into interior design, because I know watching this will be a young person closer to graduation time, and they'll be thinking, and I see this all the time, Ryan, is they want to get it right, and they're afraid of getting it wrong. But hearing you say, I thought I was going to do this, but then it actually took a twist and a turn, and here I am doing what I love. If you could go back, what would you do different in helping you on that career path? Or would you do it all over again, exactly the same?
Well, I would just say to any kids out there, don't feel under pressure to make a decision on your career path when you're 16, 17. Even later than that. I remember going to school and in Dubai, and we all felt a lot of pressure from our our teachers at the time to choose a career path, and I found that extremely stressful. Yes, I was good at art, and I almost went down interior design, product design, because it was it was kind of the only thing that I felt that was. I would just say to anybody out there, don't feel the pressure to make that decision at such a young age in your life. Whatever you decide, there's multiple opportunities, but I think you just got to be true to yourself and follow a path that you really feel that is good for you.
Definitely. I couldn't agree with you anymore. And I always tell them it's not about choosing one thing for your life. It's where do I want to begin the journey? And that's what it is. It's all about that journey. Let's go on to the journey of Ryan Trutch's career in the auto industry. Tell me what it's like to be a founder and a CEO. Pole Position is an integrated professional creative automotive events agency and motorsports consultancy. You describe it as a one-stop shop that brings people together. It brings vehicles, talent, events, promoters, and racing circuits. I mean, that sounds like a lot, Ryan. Where do you begin, and where did the idea for Pole Position come from?
So it's just through my career path. After my interior design, I started my first business in 1997, which was Dubai's first tuning shop for cars. I did that for many years, and then I had some involvement with Dubai Autodrome in the very early stages of design and consulting with them. I had another business after that, which was motorsports related as well, which was more in the field of providing safety equipment for drivers and cars. And then I went on to work at Dubai Autodrome as an employee. So that was the first time that I was really employed as in a full-time career. And I started, and I ended up working at Dubai Autodrome for 9 years, and they were great years. But I found that I always seem to do better when I'm working for myself, and building a team around me that can contribute to the business.
So let's pick up on the managing side of the work that you do. I heard you saying that you've really enjoyed working for yourself and building teams around you. Watching this right now will be a young person whose responsibility it will be to bring the teams together, kind of like that project manager role, which is definitely part of what you do. How do you build a team? And this is important for young people. I think they sometimes think their team should be people they like, their friends. But we know in business that isn't the case. How do you build your team? What do you look for when you're doing that?
Well, first of all, I do business with friends, but I do define those roles very clearly before I enter into agreements with friends. With friends, things can get muddled very easily, and things can lead to fallouts. So if you're going to do that, I would just say, make sure you know what you're getting into, and so does the other party. I don't know what it is in terms of, maybe it's a bit of intuition. Of course, I look at people's skills and what they're good at, and their experience that they've had, and that's obviously a contributing factor. And also things like, are they outgoing? Do they have interpersonal skills? That side of things. So it's more of a package that I look at, rather than is just somebody good on paper or good at presenting themselves. It's an all-round thing I look at.
All right, let's talk about the realities in the industry. What is important for a young person to know about motorsports and the auto industry when they're thinking about jumping into it in their future careers?
So the motorsports industry is very niche. So there is, of course, there's many different spectrums of jobs in motorsports. So obviously, if you're lucky enough to be a talented racing driver, then that's you've ticked all the boxes, and you're going to have a successful career. But there's many different roles in an F1 team, for example, all the way from the team manager to the cleaners, and the people that are putting tire warmers on tires and stuff like that. So there's a huge amount of roles, and they all have to work as a team to ensure that F1 team is successful at the end of the season or every race meeting. So they're all cogs in a wheel, and they have to play as a team and contribute as a team. So as I say, there's many different roles in motorsports, and also the automotive industry, from sales and marketing to management of showrooms, and even production lines and stuff like that. So there's many different roles, from technical sales and marketing, and then management. And obviously there's the finance side as well, which doesn't really flick my switch, but there might be somebody out there that might appreciate that kind of thing.
Definitely. And you definitely have to bring it all together. What would you say are qualities that are important for a young person thinking of looking at the management side of the business if they're going to go into this industry?
So they should think about where they're going to school and what kind of studies they're going to do. Obviously, things like economics, business development, all of those, they all contribute to motorsports in some way or form. But there is universities out there that have specialist engineering programs for university students that are involved in race car mechanics, wind testing, aerodynamics, all that kind of stuff. So there's many different aspects to the engineering as well. It could be, you're an engine engineer, or you could be an aerodynamic engineer. There's many different roles. So obviously, is it F1 in schools that you're doing?
Yes.
Okay, so obviously they're learning about aerodynamics in order to get that car down the track as fast as possible. But there is many different roles out there in motorsports.
Just as we're coming right to the end, I have so many questions. I promised to bring it down to my last two. When we think about getting the car out there, one of the other tasks that a young person will have to be thinking about is sponsoring the car. How do you do that? How do you convince an organization that their brand should be on your car, on your vehicle?
Okay. Sponsorship is extremely tough. I'm not a salesman per se, so it's something I find challenging to do. It's something I always probably outsource to sponsorship professionals. But sponsorship is very hard. At the end of the day, you're trying to sell yourself and show that company that you're approaching will benefit from a partnership with you. And it's not just about putting a sticker on a car. Nowadays, there's so much more to it. There's social media. You've really got to present yourself. They want to be represented by somebody who's well presented, can speak well, can speak in front of a camera, that kind of thing. So again, it's not just about the sticker on the car. You're selling yourself as well as your talents. So it's not an easy one, sponsorship, but if you've got the marketing skills, then there is careers out there for people.
Talk to you forever. We're going to have to bring it to a wrap. Ryan, if you had to go all the way back again, I know I asked you this before, would you definitely want to be in this industry? Is this it, or do you miss interior design?
So I do miss doing a little bit of art. I wouldn't say it's interior design, but I do like to paint and stuff like that as well. So if I was to do it again, yes, I would. But instead of studying interior design, I would have studied engineering in motorsports or something like that.
Thank you for being here, Ryan. Anybody watching this, we were just speaking with Ryan Trutch, who is the CEO of Pole Position, an avid motorsports professional. He talked to us about his career journey and a little bit about the industry. If you are watching from our Year 8 audience, I hope this inspires you to jump into your project and look for the management role that will bring your team together. Everybody else in the virtual world, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again at our next Desk Careers Digital Spotlight.